Train station. Here I am back at the train station. This time I'm on the platform 2 going to Gori. Wonderful. No train. And that's the Armenian train. Going to Yerevan, that one. So that's what I'll be doing soon. Yeah, folks. That's it, folks. Amazing, right? The proper trains. Just got on the local commute, 8:20 towards Gori, and yeah. So I was on the Sadler yesterday to. But oh, you can hear the hoot, and it's 8:20. It's about to depart. They're always well on time. That's the beauty, and it's a glorious day here in Tbilist. And yeah, so it will be an hour's journey towards Gori, getting off there, and I'm going to pick up a commuter bus towards some caves. That's the second hoot. And yeah. Windows on some clay. Going to Gori. Oh, ready to cross. Water tank. Workshops. Look at these buildings. The metro line. Ah, look at this. Beautiful scenery, folks. Just managed to go to the market. That's my setup there. I'm on a commuter train. The original trains that were built here in the former USSR days. Look at these folks. Fascinating landscape. The monasteries were built on the just pretty much hanging monasteries. there, look. Wow. What a beauty. Look at that, folks. Wow. What a beauty. What I've realized is that the amount of rubbish and fly tipping that goes on when you live off the land, you don't appreciate anything. You just want to do, especially when your government does not care about your well-being and being proud of you. The people just live without a purpose or a meaning. That turns the land into a living hell. Not just for the people who live on the land, but anyone who's traversing through the land. And this is where we are today with our leadership. The nations and the people have fallen into that same cyclical trap. It's unable to realize the potential, the beauty, the heaven that we have. It's not a geographical position somewhere else above or beyond. It is within us. Have we made ourselves into a hell? So every step of the way, the living space, the environment around us, that all becomes a living hell on earth. But the earth is the only place that we know of to this day where humans have existed and lived, and life has existed and lived upon. Every life is supporting one another in this woven fabric of phenomena that we call life. It's a certain amount of energy and time the humans have decided to spend. That time making themselves with so much of contracted traps that are twisting them and hurting the very purpose and meaning of existence here on earth. As I getting closer to my next destination, I want to bring about those farmers who are the flocks of sheep that they're shepherding along, are the ones that are still appreciating this land and being part of the land. Those animals that gives us food, the farmer who's nurturing those animals, and the soil, the richness of the soil that's nourishing those animals is nourishing us, nourishing the environment, the very soil that those animals graze upon. I can keep going on about my little story about this journey and my inward journey towards looking and leaving a note, leaving a message behind for the future generations to somewhat be conscious and responsible of their existence here on earth and leave a better place and a planet for their children and the future generations to enjoy, to be joyful of, to be a pleasant experience, rather than what I have seen along this journey and beyond many other journeys, that we are trashing the planet, we are trashing the very soil and earth that we live upon. The Mother Earth is in many ways, you saw there's farmer there with his cattle, making sure that the cattle doesn't traverse across the track. And yeah, we've lost the meaning and purpose of life because of the materialistic. You saw it just there, the fly tipping. It's unforgiving for humans to do this to the very land they live on, walk upon, that feeds you. There's a little cattle there. Wow. It's just incredible the amount of rubbish that has been strewn across where there's settlements of homes. And if there's a river or a stream that traverse through, you see the amount and the volume of rubbish that have been tipped down the slopes. And it's unbearable to look at. What a beautiful scenic, this is all fly tip. What a beautiful scenic landscape. Yet, when you look closely, without being in your ivory towers and tinted glasses, come walk with me the planet. I'll show you to the leadership how painful it is to see your land being trashed like this by your own people. And in terms of construction and cheap material labor that we've got, we just keep knocking things down instead of reviving things that stood here for decades, centuries. Instead of replacing them with so-called this green scam. I don't see any green. It's almost like an astroturf, a plastic. There's nothing green about the amount of plastic and bottles that have been strewn across the landscape. Anyhow, I've spoken too much. It's time for me to... It's my station, my next destination. I'm going to see several... Look at this, look at this, look at that. Look at this. It's nothing. How can anything live and thrive upon that kind of... And well, how can you say... And of course, look. And the humans have made the planet a hell, and they're seeking to look at this here, a river. Look at this river here, right? This is fly tipping. They've extracted what they can and then come and fill with rubbish. That's unforgiving, folks. Absolutely unforgiving to treat our planet and the earth that we live and that nourishes us in many ways. It hurts me painfully, deeply hurts me to see this kind of destruction to our planet. There's no need for it. There's no reason for it, because the Mother Earth has abundance of food to support every living creature on the planet, including the humans. But the humans have made sure that they don't wish to see their future or their children live well. That's where we are. That's why I'm getting here to Gori to see the fortress, and then to a few other places, and then go and see one of the old settlements in this very historically, deeply cultural space called Georgia. Look at these buildings here. fruits. Wow. Look at his chuck the stuff on there. Good morning, how are you? Raj Kapuri. Wow, look at this, folks. That's Tbilisi, 2 o'clock. And that's the train station. Wow. Wow. It's a train station. That guy who's smoking there. So there. It's wearing a Canada Goose and didn't chuck the stuff.